Hey folks, Sean here, and in this episode I want to talk to you about why it's important to not be afraid to find out that your B2B SaaS product is not a great idea. Now, I see this problem all the time, and I've recently had a coaching call with someone who I would argue is stuck in this situation, and I see this a ton, where there are people out there trying to build successful B2B SaaS products into businesses that are waiting entirely too long to validate the concepts that they've come up with. As in, they've come up with an idea, they're even potentially working on building it, but it has been entirely too long before they've actually tested that idea and concept with the market. And that usually up to and even beyond a year, with no interaction with the target market and no attempt to try to sell that idea or generate revenue from it. If this sounds like you, or you've ever been here, trust me, you're not alone. I've even been there myself way back when, early in my career. But what I'm here to tell you is that that is the wrong approach. Here's why. You don't want to find out that what you've been working on for years, long period of time, that far down the road, doesn't have a lot of potential, right? So instead, we flip the script on that. We want to get your product concept and idea in front of a target market as fast as possible. Because if you find out that what it is that you've been working on won't sell, when would you rather know that? Sooner or later? That's why. It's important not to be entirely focused on whatever concept you initially had for your B2B SaaS, but you at the same time need to test that, and that will give you the data which will help either give you confidence that you're heading in the right direction or that you need to make a pivot, but something earlier on. Because if you build too far down the wrong path, then you're simply going to need to backtrack or start over before you can actually make any kind of progress. This is why it is so important to sell your concept as soon as possible. Because at the end of the day, if you're not providing a solution to a top problem for your target market, not only will they not use it, they definitely will not pay for it. And if they won't pay for it, that means you can't turn it into a business. And that's more than likely the outcome you're really looking for here. You're looking to build a successful business. So the concept that you're pursuing, if the feedback from the market isn't great, trust me, you'd rather know that sooner rather than later. So don't be afraid to get that concept out and in front of the market as soon as you can. And don't take whatever feedback you're going to get personally. This happens to all of us. I have an article, I'll link to it in the show notes, where I was comparing two concepts. I loved both of them. One of them received almost no interest, despite having run the almost exact same experiment against another concept that received a ton of positive interest. This helped me figure out which one to pursue or validate concepts that I was working on. The one that didn't receive any leads from it, that one I knew was not ready. But if I had been chasing or pursuing that for years or building it, I would have found that out so late in the game. It might have jeopardized my ability to be successful in this space altogether. But now that I know I need to test that sooner rather than later, I can do that really early on, so I can get some early stage validation criteria and data around the value proposition that I'm considering pursuing. And if you do get some positive initial early signs, that means you may be on the right track. And those milestones, I feel, are very important for giving you the validation and the confidence to know whether or not you should move to the next step in the process.